So first off, with search engines, it definitely continues to get much more complicated. That said, the one thing you have to remember, most importantly, is that if you create great content that people are willing to engage with, content people are willing to share, that content is ultimately going to do well. So always remember that as kind of an overarching premise whenever you're developing out your content strategy. Make the content worthwhile for your audiences. Now that said, there are some fundamental pillars that still do kind of matter to search engines. One is language. Search engines still use language as a primary factor for finding information and understanding the context of what you're actually communicating and talking about. So it's still important that when we are developing out our content strategy, that we're using language that's actually relevant to our audiences. Another thing is linking. It used to be this thing where it was all about building large volumes of links coming into your content, and that sent a signal to search engines saying that your content was popular, people cared about it. But what happened is people started to game the system and started to spam or create fake links or all different types of link tactics pointing back to their content. What you need to do is focus in on quality of those links that are coming into your content. When you've got high authority sources out there, and those high authority sources like news publications, for example, are linking back to your content, it sends a signal back to search engines that your content is important. So think about the quality of places that are actually linking back to your content as another key variable. Another one is authority. We just talked about this a second ago. You want to make sure your content has a lot of authority. So what does authority mean? Well, authority is a couple different ways. If people come to your content and they like your content and they're willing to engage with it, they're willing to share it with others, they're willing to link to it. All these are ways that are sending signals to search engines that people care about your content and your content is of value. And the more authority that your content builds over time, the more favorable it's going to be within search engines. So once again, when these high authority sources link back or are sharing content with your content, that helps your content actually go up in authority. So PR becomes an important element in developing out your content strategy because it helps build up the authority of your content when you're putting your content out there. The last area is relevancy, which has gotten, I think, more and more difficult for global brands. This is a big miss as it relates to search engines because it's all about relevancy and creating good context. So in your local market, that communication strategy is going to play out differently. Your audiences are different. They think about your brand, your product differently, and therefore the content has to be written, visualized, and talked about in a way that's more relevant to your audiences in those local markets. So those are the key factors, considerations that you should be considering when trying to make your content more findable with search engines.